everyone, happy Sunday. How you doing? Hope you had a good week. If I might be a little frank here, I've had a really testing week. Testing of my, not faith, but testing of my being a minister. How's that? Ever since I decided to do this, I felt like I needed to be a little, practice what you preach. And, I try to, post about being good and being happy and being, joyful and things like that. And so I'm trying more to adhere to that. And I have to say that this week, certain people just tested that, and I did pretty well, I try to remember myself, but I have to tell you, wow, if there is a testing up there and they're, hey, let's test her, let's see how she does with this, this was the week, so. But I made it through. And so anyway, I just had to share that because it's sort of small venting. But it was it was an interesting week of, finding out how much I really mean, to preach that, we have to be good and, and kind to others and things like that. But that doesn't mean people aren't going to be kind to you. So I guess I'm human at the end of the day. But all in all, I did pretty well. But anyway, that being said, we are going to get right into the reading. So let's do that, and then we can talk about it a little bit, and we'll go from there. Okay. So we're going to read about the descendants of Cain. And I will tell you, I did, as you could probably imagine, I read through this during the week, so that I kind of know, what I want to talk about once I read it. And this one it's all names. It's, if I mess up some of the names, I'm going to tell you ahead of time, I'm probably going to. The descendants of Cain. Cain and his wife had a son and named him Enoch. Then Cain built a city and named it after his son. Enoch had a son and named Irad, who was the father of Mehujael. And Mehujael had a son named Methuselah, who was the father of Lamech. Lamech had 2 wives, Adah and Zillah. Adah gave birth to Jabal, who was the ancestor of those who raise livestock and live in tents. His brother was Jabal, the ancestor of all musicians who played the harp and the flute. Zillah gave birth to Tubal-Cain, who made all kinds of tools out of bronze and iron. The sister of Tubal-Cain was Naamah. Lamech said to his wife, Adah and Zillah, "Listen to me. I have killed a young man because he struck me. If 7 lives are taken to pay for killing Cain, 77 will be taken if anyone kills me." Seth and Enosh. Adam and his wife had another son. She said, "God has given me a son to replace Abel, whom Cain killed." So she named him Seth. Seth had a son whom he named Enosh. It was then that people began using the Lord's holy name in worship. The descendants of Adam. This is the list of the descendants of Adam. When God created human beings, he made them like himself. He created them male and female, blessed them, and named them human beings. When Adam was 130 years old, he had a son who was like him, and he named him Seth. After that, Adam lived another 800 years. He had other children and died at the age of 930. When Seth was 105, he had his son Enosh, and then lived another 807 years. He had other children and died at the age of 912. When Enosh was 90, he had a son Kenan, and then lived another 815 years. He had other children and died at the age of 905. When Kenan was 70, he had a son Mahalalel, and then lived another 840 years. He had other children and died at the age of 910. When Malahel was 65, he had a son Jared, and then lived another 830 years. He had other children and died at the age of 895. When Mahalalel was 65, he had a son, when Jared was 162, he had his son Enoch, and then lived another 800 years. He had other children and died at the age of 962. When Enoch was 65, he had his son Methuselah. After that, Enoch lived in fellowship with God for 300 years and had other children. He lived to be 365 years old. He spent his life in fellowship with God and then disappeared because God took him away. When Methuselah was 187, he had a son Lamech, and then lived another 782 years. He had other children and died at the age of 969. When Lamech was 182, he had a son, and said, "From the very ground on which the Lord put a curse, this child will bring us relief from all our hard work." So he named him Noah. Lamech lived another 595 years. He had other children and died at the age of 777. After Noah was 500 years old, he had 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. That was a mouthful, but I think I did okay. So as I was reading this, every time I read these and think about what I want to say, I think this one, and I know I mentioned my mom a lot. I guess she's still right here and right here, very present. So, but I started thinking about, all the ages that they lived to. And I'm guessing after Noah's Ark and after the flood, which will be coming up next in the next reading, I guess people didn't live as long. So, but when I tell people sometimes that I want to live to be, I have 115 in my mind. It's just a number I came up with. And people go, "Oh, I don't want to live that long. Why would you want to live that long, Well, who wants to die? No, I don't think anybody does. But when I say that, people are like, they're ready to, live till 80 or something, like that. And I'm thinking, God, no, I'd love to see my grandchildren, my great-grandchildren, my great-great-grandchildren. I would love to see all that. I don't know that that's going to happen. If I'm lucky, I'll get to see my great-grandchildren maybe, but, and my grandchildren, I don't have any yet. But I think of my mom, and, she lived to be 93, and unfortunately her last 5 years were, really taken away by Alzheimer's, so, but still, for 93, I mean, yes, in the world today, 93 is, wow, they lived a really good, long life, and she did, she got to see her grandchildren, but, wouldn't it have been great if she could have lived, to the ages, or maybe not 800, but, longer, and, of course, without Alzheimer's, and just lived to be a ripe old age, that old, and seeing all these things, and, but for today's, in these times, 93 was a good age, if I could live to be 93, I'm 65, if I could live to be 93, wow, I've got so much more to see. We don't know, we'll see what happens. But when I see people, die at 100 years old, for instance, and you think of all the things that they saw and how wonderful that is to have, experienced all these things. I mean, some people have seen like World War I, II, Vietnam, and not that those are good things to see, but they've lived through all those things, you know what I mean? And they saw all those things, and they survived all those things, and they were able to tell stories, you know what I mean? So, but then, sometimes you look and, young children are dying, and cancer and things like that. I mean, you read that and it seems like at that time people just lived long, long, long lives. And I don't, I just can imagine if we were able to live that way, for that length of time. But, I guess that's the way life is, and that's the way life is today. And, even with my mom's passing, it's, now I look at myself and I'm like, well, now I'm the older one. I'm the oldest sibling. And, now my children are me when I was, my mom was my age. And it's a little scary. All right, so I find it scary sometimes, And it's like, wow, I could be next. Who knows? You just don't know. But I guess what I'm trying to say is I would, if it was like for me, I would love to be able to know that I could live all those years and see so many things, but that's just not reality. And I don't know how long I'm going to live, though I will say I'm going to live to be 150, and I'm sticking to that. But, I think at the end of the day, I guess the big message is that we have to live every day and enjoy every day the best we can. A lot of people worry about, money and cars and houses, and, they keep working to get these things, and they're not really enjoying it all the time. You know what I mean? My enjoyment in life are the little things. I love spending time at home with my family, or, quilting, or, making soap, or whatever I do, but there are things that I enjoy, and they may not seem like a lot to other people, but I feel like I'm living my best life that I can live. And I think my mom's passing made me want to do that even more, because it's important. Life is so short, and you can be gone just like that, So, I don't want to spend it just, I want to live to be, work till I'm 80 or 75 or something like that, so I can have good big cars and stuff. No, I just want to enjoy life. When I talk about like retirement, all I talk about is just being home and baking and quilting and cooking and crocheting, whatever. Those are the things that I think about. So I guess what I'm trying to say all in this big ball of what I just spoke about is enjoy every day of your life. Make the most of it. When you wake up every day, it's a new day, and it's some chance. Pick just a small part of your day. You do something you love. Even if it's 15, 20 minutes. But make it something you love to do, because you cannot be there the next day. You know what I mean? So, that being said, I was thinking about a way that we could do some live chat or some live thing on Facebook, and I'm still kind of working on that, but it would be great if we could do something together, even if it's a rosary, doing the rosary or something like that. So I'm still working on that, and I'm still trying to post different things. Again, I say, if there's anything that you want to see, please let me know. My friend Janet said she would like to see some feel-good stories, so I'm trying to do that, and that was a great idea. But anything else, just let me know. And I'm trying to keep everything going every day as we do, and I hope you're enjoying it. I just dropped that. Anyway, I hope you all have a wonderful Sunday. Remember, take some time to enjoy life. It's super important. You can enjoy life, and you can have one little moment of your day to enjoy it and do something you love, then do it. Happy Sunday to you all. God bless.